Thank you. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, John Patrick, the dope ass dude, and thank you for tuning in tonight. Really excited about being here and everything that is going to go down because we have a great show planned for you guys. So, first, before we get started, make sure you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then also, if you are not following the dope ass dude on TikTok, and on Instagram, make sure you go out and follow us on the podcast. I mean, on TikTok and Instagram. So I'm really excited about these guys here tonight, and they're going to take me a little bit out of my comfort zone because this is going to kind of like be a free show that we're just going to be talking here tonight. So, hey, they're going to take me out of my comfort zone, but I am so excited about them being here. And if you are not in the chat already, go out and get in the chat and let's start talking because we definitely want to hear what you guys have to say because we want your feedback tonight. So we're going to go ahead and bring these guys on out. Oh, and before we get started, many of you don't know this here if you follow the dope ass dude on Instagram and on TikTok. For the next 10 weeks while the podcast is going, I have given up sweets. So that is going to be something that you guys are going to see different personalities from me because I love sweets and I can't live without them. But for the next 10 weeks, I will be. And I won't be shaving my beard for the next 10 weeks too. So you're going to see a little transformation there too. So, hey, look for it because I'm kind of excited to see how I look at the end of 10 weeks. So let's go ahead and bring these fellas out. Cerone, Serge, what's going on, fellas?
I'm doing good. How are y'all doing?
Doing good. Serge, we can't hear you, man. You got us on mute.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Well, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Hurting me.
Hey, don't worry about it, man. When I first came out, I was on mute and didn't know it. So, hey, there you go. But happy you guys on the show, man. So tell us a little bit about yourselves. Before we even get to the podcast, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I'll start. I'm Cerone. Here in North Carolina. By nature, my background, I'm Jamaican by birth. Currently in the U.S. military. I've been in the military for over 12 years now. Had a couple of deployments under my belt. This podcast that we're starting is just, two of us just come together and we're just going to have like two brothers just talking about everyday issues that we talk about. And now we just want the world to just come into our space and just chat with us and just get to know about, everything. And we just kick it off from there. Just two guys talking about everything.
Nice. And Cerone, you have like a journalism background as well, right? You have some experience with that as well, right?
Yeah. I graduated from Nova Southeastern University there in South Florida with my bachelor's in communication with an emphasis in media studies. And then just this past year, I graduated from Barry University, still right there in South Florida with my the master's in public administration. So I'm still in the field of journalism. Worked at a couple of print news organization, and I did an intern at NBC6 News there in South Florida.
Oh, wow. So let me ask you this here. So will we get a CNN influence perspective or a Fox News perspective? Because they're kind of like different,
You're going to get a CNN. You're going to get a CNN.
Oh, man, I'm Fox. I'm Fox.
NBC.
I'm not listening. I'm Fox, man. I'm Fox all day long. I'm Fox News, man.
Yeah, you're going to get a CNN. Definitely not Fox over here, for sure.
Okay. And what about you, sir? Tell us about you.
Let's see. Born and raised in North Carolina. What's going on in North Carolina? Moved to New York when I was maybe 10 or 11. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where I say I'm originally from New York because, got that New York flavor. Moved all around the country, Minnesota, LA, Georgia, Virginia, been all over. Currently working at a Ivy League institution in the Northeast. And I'm just like chilling, ready to get this going.
Wow. And Serge, you have you post this on your Instagram page, like the most handsome little boy ever.
Oh, yeah. I can't leave him out. Yeah, it's my son, Isaiah. He's 6. Handful.
Wow.
If you hear
Wow.
something, like, ignore it. If you hear something, like, ignore it.
So let's get to it, man. So straight talk. I mean, straight up real talk. So how did this come about? Like, what inspired this podcast?
All right, go ahead, Serge.
Well, John, you know this, right? So, you know, pretty much my friends always say, every time they was like, oh, they'll try and tell me a story and I already know it. So they're like, of course you already know the story. You keep up with everything, right? So they always say, why don't you like use it? And I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm too old, whatever the case may be, right? I know. But that's what I was telling myself, right? Too old to like start this now, right? And oddly enough, one day I was on Instagram and I saw your videos and I saw your podcast and I watched it and I was like, that's dope. I'm like, why can't I do that? Like, I can do that, right? And so then I was like, all right, so then I'm not going to do it by myself. And so the first person I thought of Cerone. He has a journalism degree. And so like he can give you like the serious news. I can give you like the entertainment, the sport, whatever the case may be. We can switch it up. So you get like the best of both worlds with us.
Wow.
And then Cerone, you can take over how I've reached out to you.
Well, it just came about because Serge came to me and gave me the idea about it, and I know I thought about it because I'm a very strategic thinker, and if I'm going to go into something, I'm going to go into it full force, and it came about because I do believe that there's an avenue for us that not a lot of people are doing, and I want to capitalize on this part where every day guys are talking about everyday things. And I want for our podcast, yes, we'll say what we want to say, but at the end of the day, it's going to be rooted in facts. We can still have our opinions on certain things, but we have to first lead with facts, and then everything else will branch off and do its thing. But facts is ultimately first. There's no fake here or nothing. Everything is going to be straight facts. So this is how it came about, and I'm really happy and enthusiastic about you having us on your show and just helping us, kicking us our podcast off. And I'm eternally grateful for your support. Okay.
Absolutely. And that leads into the next question, because I mean there are so many podcasts out there. I mean, so many podcasts, and it's like to the point now, everyone is out there, and it's like everyone is verbally vomiting on the world. I mean, that's what it's like, because everyone is just out there giving their opinions. So I love the fact that you said it's going to be based on facts, which means you guys are going to do your research. You're going to, before you get on there, it's automatically planned out. You're not just going to get on here, hey, what are we going to talk about today? And you just shoot the breeze. So what group of people, I mean, are you targeting a certain group of people, or is this podcast going to be for everyone?
I think this podcast will mainly go for like everyone. However, we welcome if you are a business owner, if you run a nonprofit, if you are a singer, if you are a professor, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, hey, if you're a politician, everybody come on and we will have a conversation, and you'll get to come in our world and we'll get to go into your world. And because I do believe in helping each other, and I see this platform as a way in which we can reach a lot of people who probably don't see themselves, probably somebody, see themselves as Serge, and they're like, okay, if he can do it and he and I have the same thought process, you know what, I'm going to listen to him. Or somebody may see themselves in me, someone who's of a Caribbean background, who's an immigrant, who sees things differently, coming from an immigrant background. Jamaica, you could be Guyanese, Trinidad, St. Lucia, Bahamas, like this platform, so that you can see yourself and know that, okay, someone that looks like me, talks like me, sound like me, if they can do it, then why can't I? So come on here and we will have a grand time. We'll talk and we'll just get the podcast going, get the conversation going.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that people will be able to see themselves in you guys. I mean, I think that is amazing, because Serge said something just earlier about whether or not he is too old to do this. And I think a lot of people feel that way. I think a lot of people are letting age or gender, it could be gender or anything, prevent them from going out for what they want. Serge, like, you want to talk a little bit more about that? Because you dealt with it. So
Well, Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about it for years I'm gonna age myself right now, but since I was in my 30s, I've been thinking about like podcast, TV, radio, or something. But as time went on, it was like, okay, I just feel like I'm now too old. No one is gonna be interested in what the old guy got to say or whatever the case may be, right? But after looking at, other people's podcasts, other people, they're older people on TV, doing whatever, doing what we're doing. And so I was like, why can I do it? Like, I can definitely do this. And so when I was thinking about it, thinking about who to do it with, like I said, I immediately thought about Cerone. We're in a different age group, you know what I'm saying? We're different, and our backgrounds are different. We come from different places. Like Cerone is very like news oriented, like he loves the news topics. I'm entertainment oriented, you know what I mean? And so when he says that, the show is for everybody, it will be for everybody. Cerone could be talking about, what's going on in Russia or whatever, and I can be over here talking about love and hip hop or something, right? And so you're gonna get a dose of everything, and so that's what sets us apart.
Nice, nice. I love that. And I do love the fact that you guys, there is not a huge age difference, but Saronis is in his 30s, you in your 40s. So it's like you guys can reach multiple people. You can reach multiple people. And Serge, you told us, yesterday you were a thug. You don't look like a thug, but hey, you may be a thug, a reformed thug. So hey. So we're gonna take your word for it. You're a thug. So hey, there's something for everybody.
Is my mom in the chat? Did I say
that? So fellas, we're gonna go ahead and get to it because I've been telling people all day long that we're gonna talk about the hot topics. So, and it's one that is kind of like in the news right now, and it is kind of hot, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. So I'm gonna lead it off like this here. Do you think Donald Trump would have gotten Brittany Griner out of jail a little bit sooner than Biden and Harris?
So this is what I would say. So I was reading, I was watching the news recently, and the opportunity did come for him to get her out, but it was unsuccessful. But knowing what I know from based on his actions, things that he said, I don't know if he would have fought harder to get her out. I do believe there's some misconception around the idea about that they should have brought the guy Paul instead of her. Now, if they use what God gave them, which was these two things right here, and that thing inside their head is called a brain, and used to analyze and listen, not based on what they think, but what he said, what President Biden said, it was either one person or nobody. That was it. So common sense prevailed. I'm going to take one versus nothing. So kudos for them to bringing her home. But if the tables were turned, I don't know what he would have done, because you just never know with that man. You never know what's going on. He probably woke up on the wrong side one morning and just like, okay, I'm going to do the right thing, or just don't do a thing.
Nice. Serge, what you think, man?
I mean, I got an easy answer for this. It's literally 2 seconds. Could he have done it? Yes. He was friends with Putin. Let's be honest, right? He's friends with him, right? Yeah. He goes pick up the phone. Yo, do me a favor. Let's bring her home. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to look good for both of us. He could have done it. Would he have done it? No. Right? It wouldn't have looked good to his fan. It wouldn't have, I don't want to say his fan base, but his followers, or, it wouldn't have looked good to them, right? They're like, oh, why are you helping this brown lady, who's like married to a woman? It wouldn't have played well in his playbook. So he wouldn't have done it, but he could have done it. He's friends with them.
Okay. So let me ask you guys this here. Do you think race played a part of how long it took her to get out?
I don't necessarily think race played a factor. What I did think played a factor was that Putin wanted some leverage to get back at the US so that they could get somebody that was already locked up, and they wanted him. Because you have to remember, that Russia and the U.S. have always been an adversary against each other. So whatever Russia can get out of U.S., they're going to try their hardest to squeeze and squeeze until they can get it from a certain standpoint to the limit of what they can do.
Serge?
Uh, what was the question again?
This race was race a factor? Did that slow them up? Because a lot of people are thinking, hey, they're taking their time because she's black. That's what has been said by some people. They're taking their time, they're dragging her feet because she's black. If it would have been a white player, she would have been out of there 6 months ago.
If I'm being completely honest, I don't think race played a factor in how long it took them to get her out. I think race is a big factor in the backlash that's coming now. If, let's be honest, and I'm just going to say it, if she had blue eyes and blonde hair and her husband was waiting home for her, we would not be having this conversation about whether or not it was a fair trade or, well, she did break the law. We would not be having this conversation. But because she's a brown girl, right? She's a brown girl. She's married to another brown girl. There's the issue. That's just it is what it is. That's the issue.
So you think sexual preference played a part in it?
Of course.
I'm talking the backlash. The backlash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I also do believe though, because she falls within the LGBT community, you have to still remember that there are certain sectors of the US who do not like or appreciate that she's, a lesbian. So therefore, if she was, as Serge said, brown eye, blue eye, blonde or whatever, and a husband and child was back home, the backlash that she's getting right now, it would have been less, because now you have people that are on the right that are talking about how why they didn't take the Marine instead of her, because the Marine did XYZ for the country and did all of that. But they're not looking at the facts of what this guy did prior to him getting arrested in Russia. Like, if you read pretty much his rap sheet, you're like, okay, some dots are connecting right.
Russia, his rap
yeah,
sheet.
Right? Her Russia on
Russia's
rap sheet for him, I should say. Yeah. That some things ain't adding up. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the two, yes, one was arrested for vaping, and another one was arrested for allegedly spying, espionage, allegedly, according to them. Allegedly. And what can we say? But I do believe that there's a backlash that's coming because of that, and people are only want to see what they want to see, and that's it.
Wow. Okay. So should Brittany go back to Russia to play sports?
No, I hope to God she doesn't.
No.
I hope, because that doesn't make any sense. Because why would you just leave a place that literally wanted you arrested, locked up for what, 8-9 years, something like that?
Oh yeah.
No, I do believe that her stock is going to go up, though.
It is.
Yeah.
She's going to be stock is going to go up.
Star here.
Okay, and do you think that is fair that her stock goes up? Like Russia was her Oscar, so now she can get paid a little bit more for playing on the team?
Why not?
But what about the other players?
What does that? Sorry, like no, I'm not being mean. But it's her time, right? So why should she not take her time? I mean, it doesn't matter how you get it, as long as you get it, legally. If it's her time and she's shining, go in the light.
I agree. But I will also say that because of her now, there's more awareness is going to be placed on the money,
definitely,
on the players, for them wanting to go overseas now to play, to make a living now, because you got to remember, statistically, the NBA gets a lot more ads, more investment, so therefore they can be paid 10 times more than what they can be paid. But now I believe she now has a platform that she can stand on. Is that because I wasn't getting paid X amount of money, versus if I was a male and in the NBA, I wouldn't even have to think twice about leaving the US to go overseas to pay. I mean, to
Mm.
get paid.
But hold on one second. I want to go back to something that John said. Plus, with all of the attention that she's going to be getting, like she's going to now be filling in those arenas. If you ever looked at the WNBA games, they're kind of empty, right? Because of her celebrity, she's going to be filling seats. And so if she's filling seats and everyone is coming out, that's just pretty much helping everybody, like all of the teams essentially. Because
Yeah, I do agree, but I also think that the difference between men basketball, the NBA and the WNBA is that men follow the NBA.
yeah,
So men can see themselves being, a LeBron James or Stephen Curry. They can see themselves doing it. They can't see themselves being a Brittany Griner. So I'm sorry, the funds are just not going to be there to command the same salary of LeBron James. I don't care where you were locked up.
No,
She's
it's
not going to
definitely
get that kind of money.
no, it's definitely not going to be the same size. She's not going to be a LeBron James or anything like that. We know that's just not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But she should not have to go to another country now to make money. She should be making money here now. Just this
I
period.
agree.
Okay, now do you guys think that this celebrity is going to make her slide across? Now she's not going to be acting or performing as great. Do you think it's going to impact her performance because she's a celebrity?
I don't think so. I think it's gonna make her work harder to prove her worth because the country, the president did all this fight to get her home because of the game. So now I think the pressure is going to be on her now to actually deliver
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because now as soon as she gets evaluated and get back training. Now, all these places are going to be after her, and you best believe that
yeah.
paycheck is going to be increased more than the average WNBA players. So it's going to be up there, and it's going to be up to her to look. Let me go do my thing and shoot.
Yeah, because everybody has 10 seconds of fame. So, Brittany, this is your 10 seconds. You better monopolize on it because the first time you do not perform, them same fans are going to be the ones that turn on you. That's just how it all works out.
Yeah.
Let me just say this before we move on. I do not care how she got home. I don't care if there was a fair trade. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. What I care about is that a brown person did not get the short end of the stick this time. That's all I care about. I'm done. I'm done.
I agree.
Okay, that's really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next subject. So let me ask you guys this here. So I'm a preacher's kid. I grew up in church all my life and everything, and now you have pastors or leaders that are making millions and millions of dollars. They're making millions of dollars. They have airplanes. Cerone, he's smiling like he's ridden on one of these airplanes. So he might have a different perspective. Should a pastor live in $1 million home? What do you guys think about that?
I will say this. Growing up, I grew up in the church. So I know how it works. My grandmother was a pastor. I grew up singing on the choir and the whole shebang. I was in church from Sunday to Sunday. I there's a way how to do it. I don't believe I nowadays I do believe that pastors see the church as a money making machine. Yes, they do see it as a money making machine. That's what I think they see it as a money making machine, and where they expect to live this lavish life. Yes, do I want for them to be able to afford their homes, put food on their table, clothes on their backs? Most definitely. But there comes a point when the materialistic side kicks in and that greed kicks in when you have members in your congregation who can't even put food on their own table, but yet still they're taking 1/10 of their whatever that they're getting their paycheck to put and they're investing and praying that seed will blossom into something that the Lord will bless them. And I'm saying, you have people who can't even send their kids to school, don't have shoes to put on their foot, don't even have gas to put in their cars. What are you doing when you have a surplus, when the bills are paid at the church, when the water bill is paid at the church, when everyone else at the church is paid to run the church? Then what happened now? How about you give that money in some way or form to your flock, the same one that is putting money? But I think there's a way how to do it, and that is not the right way to be living on lavish planes and runway. Like, no, that's not how it works in my head, though.
So there should be no surplus in the church. That's what you're saying. So once you make all your bills, everything
I'm not
outside of
saying
the
that there's
bills.
a surplus, you know what I'm saying, but I'm just saying there's a limit to what you do, and you have, and the next after that is greed.
So if you have a 20,000 member church, you can't have a Bentley.
I'm not saying you can't have a Bentley, but the optics doesn't look right.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because Jesus traveled by foot and mule. That's how they should get around. Yeah. Okay. Well, Bishop Jakes, go ahead and sell your cars and just start riding around on a donkey with your no shoes on your feet. There we go. Serge, what you got?
So this is a touchy topic. My family is religious. My mom is probably in this chat somewhere. She goes to church every week.
Mama, don't hold it against us.
Oh, but our podcast is going to be called Straight Up Real Talk. So I got to talk. So I kind of grew up, my grandmother took us to church every week, and so the only thing I remember about going to this particular church, it was in Queens, New York. Shout out to Queens, is that the church was falling apart. The church was literally falling apart. Like, you could just see, not the church that we went to. I'm saying there was a church around a corner that was falling apart. And I remember like the pastor pulling up in like a big body Benz. His wife was getting out in a fur coat. And I just remember looking over there saying to myself, like, why aren't you fixing the church? Right. And it struck me there, like, everybody isn't, preaching for the right reasons. Right. And so I kind of started side-eyeing the church after that a little bit. But then I came to realize later on that you pretty much have to know your audience, right? If you're in a mega church, if you there's no way that you're going to be pulling up and like, I'm not being like a Hyundai, and you're like running a mega church. You're just not, right? So my whole thing is you have to know your audience, right? If you know that, and by audience, your members, right? And so if you know that these people do not have a lot of money, you should not be pulling up in a Bentley, right? Leave your Bentley home.
But
bring your Honda Accord, wear your North Face jacket, not your fur coat. Like, don't be like doing like lives showing us your closet with your fur coats. Like, that's not the optics of that just looks really bad. Like,
exactly.
It does. It's the optics. I'm not saying you can't do it. You don't have to show. Everyone does not have to know. Like, you're supposed to be in there preaching. Why are you like who are you flossing for? Like,
so it's not, you guys think he should, like, so when he come to church, because he has a congregation and they all are driving Hyundais, he's supposed to show up in a Hyundai or a Kia?
Side note, there's nothing wrong with Hyundais or Kias.
Yeah, nothing wrong with Hyundais or Kia. Let's go ahead and say that, because I love the, a couple of Kias. I got you on my line. So he should show up in one of those.
If he's like running like a small local church, and you can clearly tell that these people don't have a lot of money, him pulling up in a Bentley, it just does not look good. Like, it just doesn't. I'm sorry. Like,
but what if he invests his money? What if he invests his money in stock?
He
still shouldn't do it?
It doesn't matter to me. The optics of it just look bad. I should not be sitting in church and, I'm giving you like my last dollar, but I see you leaving in the Bentley. Whether or not you invested or not, I just don't want to see that. I don't think people should see that.
Okay. Sir, Cerone, you have anything else to say on that?
That's it. I agree.
So
TD Jakes, go sell your cars. Creflo, go sell the airplane.
Hold on.
Travel by Greyhound.
Didn't say that.
Go just travel by Greyhound, because I stand by. I believe, this is just me. If a pastor, if his audience is there, he has a 20,000 audience, and they can afford
Yeah.
whatever salary they're giving him. Like if he chooses to go and invest it, because a lot of these pastors like TD Jakes, he puts out movies, he sells books, he does all of that kind of stuff. From what I understand, he doesn't accept a salary from his church. Now he does get, all the profits from the books and I think maybe the CDs and that kind of stuff. So they compensate for that. But I think if you have a church that can afford that,
Yeah.
and whatever you choose to do with that, however you choose to spend your money, that's on you. Because these same people that are paying living month to month, they will go and spend $1,000 on a Beyonce ticket, and they don't care that Beyonce is living in, $1 million home. They're not kind of concerned with that, but the same people doing the same thing. So Cerone, he done shut down on us. We know that. Look, yeah, he ain't saying nothing on that. Okay, we got you, Cerone.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just believe that if the members of your church are suffering, not suffering in a bad way, but financially, like they can't afford it and they're giving you a last, and then I look at the pastor coming in a Bentley, a Rolls Royce, and I'm over here driving my little two beat up door Mitsubishi from 1999. I'm like I'm gonna look at him. I'm like, hold up, like, am I in the wrong position right now? So that's why the optics oftentimes don't look the best. I'm not saying the pastors are supposed to be poor and can't afford. I'm just saying, because there's that gray area that you
Correct.
have to know how to trod, and you have to know your people. Like if you're in a certain area where your congregation is made up of a certain economic background, then by all means, you know what I'm saying. But just be careful, because that's a really gray area, and just know your people as church and know your audience, aka your congregation.
Yeah, I agree.
Someone said, are they suffering or do they have bad money management? I guess they're going off on the church members. Lord, we trying to take off on the church members. We trying to take off on them. Call up to the church and get your bills paid.
Why they gotta have bad money management? Maybe they just got a good job. Maybe they got what I'm saying?
Probably.
Okay. So next thing, guys. So TJ Holmes. So you guys told me about that. Like I'm not like too like familiar with TJ Holmes. I don't watch the news that much anymore because it's just so much stuff going on. But I do understand TJ Holmes. He had like a little affair. I did a little research on this brother. He had an affair, and allegedly he's not on the air right now. So what do you guys think about that?
They're just scared. They're just scared. Another word again, the optics of what it looks like.
Yeah.
But I will say this though, if he looked like Tom Cruise, they wouldn't have done anything to him. He would have still been there right to this day doing what he does. But because he looks like you and I, and even though he's a little bit on the lighter side, he still has that melon in him, and they're gonna put him down until they figure out what to do with him and her. And more than likely, she's not getting no trouble because she's gonna be good. But for him, because he has to remember that this was his comeback, Good Morning America 3, because years ago, I believe he was on BET when BET had the news, when BET had a news thing going back in the day.
Yeah.
That was his thing. And we hadn't heard from him for a long, long, long time. He was doing here and there stuff, but Good Morning America 3, like this was his backup to what we know he's capable of. And now the affair is taking over the airways, and like, they going, is it right? No. But again, in this country, when you get to a certain level, that melanin in your skin dictates how things goes.
Okay. Serge, what you think?
Again, it's race. It's race. Right? If there were two Caucasians, we would not be having this conversation. It's because America caught on to a black man, right, on national TV, they're finding out this black man is now sleeping with this white woman, like this celebrity, like a celebrity on television. Everyone saw it. Well, we didn't actually see them sleeping together, but everyone.
Not yet. The video will be out. Who knows?
That would have been something else, but no. But everyone, like, you know what goes on, right? And because at first, if you followed it at first, it seemed like ABC wasn't going to do anything. They were on the air the next day, smiling and kind of like cracking jokes about it. Backlash came, right? It was like, oh, well, you know, and then they started trying to like demonize him. Oh, well, you know, we're finding out that maybe, you know, he was allegedly having an affair. He had an affair 2 or 3 times with some other people, as to where like you really haven't heard anything about her, like at all, right? It's all him. So it's almost like they trying to like demonize him. And of course, she gets away scot-free. And like a couple of months from now, they kind of like slide her back on the air like nothing happened. And you have this new guy. I don't quite remember what his name is, right? But another nice looking black guy, right? So they want to try and replace you with someone else, you know, because they think that we're not paying attention, like we're not going to know the difference, right?
Exactly.
And so for me, it's like I said, it's all race. It's all race. We wouldn't be having this conversation.
So it wouldn't be different if it was a white man sleeping with a black woman. Do you think it would be the same backlash, or would she catch it in that event?
She would probably catch it, not him. She would probably catch it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, right? Look how long they let Matt Lau, I think he was on NBC, get away with everything he was getting away with, right? It wasn't until everyone started talking, all of the women started talking and coming forth, that they was like, all right, well, you know, now it's out in the open. Now we got to get it rid of you. It's about money, and it's about the optics of it. They can't have this black guy running around sleeping with this famous white woman, right? And getting their viewers upset. That's all it is.
Wow. So do you think because like, what have they said anything about like what his wife is feeling about that? You know, because a lot of times women jump on that, you know, his wife is the victim of this here, of a man cheating on her and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. What's going on with that?
Allegedly, they were separated at the time. So this was happening back in August, and they were legally separated.
Okay, so he wasn't married, kind of, sort of, yeah.
And so this is why I'm like, if that's the case, this is a non-story to me. Like, I don't know why this is such a big deal. People sleep with their coworkers all the time. Not me, but people sleep with
Let's make that clear.
Not me, but people sleep with their coworkers all the time.
All the time.
So I don't know why this is a story, like I said, because of the optics of it. That's
wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, because we spread stuff on the internet and social media. We don't do any fact checks and all of that kind of stuff. Do you think social media is making this a little bit worse than what it is?
I think so too, because they're like putting more into it than we even know what it is. Because truth be told, like, he and his wife could have been like, hey, we gonna go our separate ways until this divorce officially ends. So he's doing his thing, and probably she might be doing her thing, but because he's a public figure, you know, someone snap a video and then here comes it's now blowing up. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if he's officially terminated.
He's not.
Okay, so I know that they're just putting him on the back burner until things cool down. But probably they said, look, you do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing. Probably the wife is over there like doing her thing right now and don't give 2 craps.
Yeah.
But because he's a public figure, then here comes the backlash. Oh, he shouldn't have done that to to his lovely wife and this and kids. I'm like, she probably doing the same thing too.
And it's interesting how that has changed over time, because men used to, if they cheated on their wives, in some regards, they were like placed on a pedestal. I mean, they were celebrated for that kind of stuff. But I guess for the women now, it's like, I guess now they see men getting called and reprimanded for that type of stuff. So I guess that's a good thing for the women's movement.
And one other thing also, it doesn't help him that the optics of it is, excuse me, he cheated on his wife with a Caucasian woman, right? So of course the Black community is you know, that's something for them to be upset about, right? And so that's, you know, usually when stuff like this happen, right, usually Black people kind of like stick together. They trying to stick up for, let's not, don't do that, whatever the case may be. It's not a big deal, whatever the case may be. But because of who he allegedly was having an affair with, a lot of them are like, yeah, nah, we're not messing with you. Like, like get what you deserve type of thing.
Oh, wow. Okay, so someone asked a question. Why are we so mad about someone else's life? What do you guys think about that?
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know why people are mad. Like let them do what they want to do. They're two grown people doing what grown people do. And if they decide to do it, by all means, it's not our life. Let them live their life however they want to see it. Because I guarantee you, this has not been going on 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah. Allegedly, put that on there. Allegedly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure this has been going on months upon months, close to a year. It's just now coming to light for the media to see it. And here comes now this big spill about what's going on, and we can't have this man on daytime TV doing this. This woe is me. I'm like, let them live their lives. Once it's not affecting their jobs, they come to work being professional, doing what they do from whatever time of the day that they do. If it's not affecting rating, it's not affecting their work relationship, it's not affecting their bottom line, their money, it's not affecting what is it? Good Morning America, ABC, it's not affecting their bottom dollar.
Yeah.
Let them be.
Yeah. Actually, the ratings went up.
Really?
When they came back on the air for a brief period of time, the ratings went up because everyone was tuning in now to see them.
Wow.
You should have just left it. Like it was a non-story.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys watch this show. It comes on Apple TV. It's called The Morning Show, and they have a big cast. Reese Witherspoon, not Reese Witherspoon. Is it Reese Witherspoon?
Yeah, Reese Witherspoon
and Jennifer
Aniston. I've never seen it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, I mean, amazing show. So they dealt with something similar to that. So Steve Carell, he was having an affair with one of the producers on the show. She was an African-American girl. He was this like untouchable newscaster. She ended up committing suicide because she started getting like a lot of backlash about it. So she ends up committing. Oh, I'm sorry if you haven't watched the show. I'm sorry. I just kind of ruined it for you. But that was season 1. So, but she ends up committing suicide. And it was like, I don't know, maybe they're trying to prevent something like that too, because that was kind of like real life stuff when that girl did that, because she got so much backlash and he was lying about it and he was untouchable. So yeah, maybe they're trying to prevent something like that too.
The only thing I do know about that show is that Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon both make $2 million per episode.
And they deserve it.
Not per season, per episode.
And that's a lot of money right there.
That's a lot of money. And they deserve it. When I tell you.
And that is before taxes.
I'll still take it. I'll take it.
I would take it because that show is amazing. If you guys haven't watched it, The Morning Show, Apple TV, it is simply amazing. I mean, it's just a really, really good show. So, so speaking of making a lot of money, I'm going to go on to one of my favorite people. So a lot of people don't know this here about me, but every morning when I get up, my house is Apple and Google. So I just say, hey, Google, play Kanye West on House. So every morning at 5:30, I am walking around my house listening to Kanye West. So I believe Kanye West is a genius. Now, I know you guys feel a little bit different about Kanye than I do. So I'm going to let y'all tell what y'all think about Kanye. And then I'm going to come back because I'm the only one who's going to defend Kanye today.
All right. So I'll go. So people use the word genius very light, very, oh my God, he's a genius. He's a genius. He's a genius. Like, I wouldn't necessarily put Kanye in the context of a genius. I would say that he's smart in what he does. He knows how to make his money. He's smart in how he writes and sings his music and publish it, he knows his audience. So therefore, when you have all of those ingredients and you put them together, of course magic is going to happen. But not because you put all those ingredients together, that means you're a genius. No. Now, all of that said and done, Kanye, um, in my humble opinion, he has some screws that are missing.
Okay.
Now, has he always been this way? But we're just now getting a look, a taste into what other people probably known before, but he was putting up a shield before it all comes to life. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I am not a fan of Kanye. Does he have some really good music that that you can like? Okay, it's going good. It's going good. Probably does. But when you start saying certain things, and you start offending the same people that is making you a billionaire, and now it's affecting their bottom line, and these people that don't look like you and I are very fickle easily, you best believe that they're going to make sure that we see each other. Yes, or somebody said he's a musical genius. Yes, he is a musical genius. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you have to know, okay, when to cut it. As a genius, you have to be smart. And that genius, that thing literally went out the back door a few years ago.
So
Okay,
let's
but what genius is not crazy? Come on, let's think about it. Michael Jackson, crazy.
No, there
we're
is
not,
certain levels to this
we're
thing.
not doing that. We're
There,
not.
there's certain levels
We're not
to this thing. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time, some common sense is a part of being a genius, right? So why can't you have some regular common sense that kicks in and say, look, what I'm saying here don't make a lick of sense. There's something called history that we can read, that we can understand. It was written down. Like for our kind here, black people, our history wasn't written down. So therefore, we don't know. However, for other people that don't look like it, they made sure to annotate the history from whenever to now. So it's there. So I don't know. Kanye is, bless his heart.
Okay, so before I come clap back on you, we're gonna go to Serge and hear what he has to say because I have a lot to say about what you just said.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna go too hard on Kanye West just simply because mental illness is there. It is, right?
It is.
Clearly mental illness is there. So I'm not gonna go in and let have on Kanye West like I really want to and like I should. So what I will say about Kanye West is I just think he has the wrong people around him. Like, and I don't know if I don't even know if he's even touchable anymore because of his power and his influence. And so, yeah, like his wife, Kim Kardashian, like, like one of the biggest women in the world, she couldn't even she couldn't handle him. She couldn't, bring him back. She couldn't bring him back down. And so I just don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to say too much. So like I said, mental illness is there. So like I said, I don't want to go in. He does need help. What I will say about this whole genius thing, and I'm with Cerone on this, they do throw that word around just like anybody, like the whole word, like the word diva or like queen or king or whatever the case may be. Kanye West is not a musical genius.
What?
I'm sorry. I said it.
I'm about to take him off the show.
I ain't taking it. He's not a musical genius. Like his last couple of CDs have been trash.
Oh my God.
Trash. Like, I'm sorry, trash. And so, like, I'm sorry, like, I just don't see this whole genius thing. Like, was he a good business person? Yes, he was. You can't even deny that, right? Like, he was what? I think they said he was worth like $6 billion. So was he an excellent business person? Of course. But musically, Kanye West was he was amazing in his prime. He was amazing. Would I call him a genius? Just no. Like I wouldn't even. No, Michael Jackson was a genius. I think Stevie Wonder.
Oh
What we
my God.
doing? What's going on? What happened?
Okay, no, I'm just listening. I'm listening. But when Mike was alive, Mike did not become a genius until Mike passed. And in my eyes, he was a genius when he was alive. But people trashed Mike when he was alive. They
They
said
did.
he
They
was
did.
a pedophile, predator, all of
No,
this kind of
of
stuff when
course.
he was alive.
I
And then
agree.
when Mike died, then
I
he's the greatest entertainer in the world. So my next question for you
Always
guys.
was. Always
Okay,
was.
always was
Always
exactly
was.
always, but we tend to bash people when they're alive and say they have all of these issues, and then when they're gone and they can't hear the accolades, then we want to give them to them.
Sure.
So I'm gonna ask you guys this here: as African Americans, do you think we are failing Kanye? And what I mean by that is, if that would have been a white person, a Caucasian person who said some of the stuff that Kanye said, they wouldn't have done anything about that. We would have been saying, oh, that's unfair, blah, 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 blah. But Kanye is speaking his mind and he's speaking his truth, whether it's crazy or not. And he's been punished because of his freedom of speech. Do you think as African Americans, we should be tallying behind him and coming to his defense and saying he should have that right to say that without being punished for it? Do
Okay,
you guys think we're failing Kanye?
No, go
Cerone,
ahead.
fix your face. Cerone, fix your face. Cerone
Oh,
was like,
Tammy said, I think
no.
Kanye has failed us. Okay.
And real quick, because I'm gonna let Cerone take this real quick. That's the point right there. Kanye failed us because who is Kanye talking about before he started talking about the other community? Who was he talking about? Slavery was a choice, blah blah blah, and all this other stuff. Like,
But
so how are you gonna support someone when they're literally talking about you?
okay, but let me just say this here. Now, I haven't listened to this here. I haven't listened to Kanye say that slavery was a choice. I haven't listened to that whole interview or anything like that. But I did hear a interview about that interview. And
Yeah.
what they said was that was misconstrued. They took 20 seconds of what he said and put it out there. They said what Kanye was saying in that, I don't know if it's true or not, but they saying Kanye was saying NBA players are slaves to the system. That's what he was saying when they are signing these contracts. Is slavery. Cerone is looking it up. Good fact check me, Cerone. I didn't listen to the interview. I just listened to some other podcast that was talking about this. So they said Kanye was saying NBA players and sports players are slaves to the contract. And that is a choice that they are making. From what I understand, he wasn't talking about African Americans as a whole. He was talking about the players.
If we're being honest, he was also a slave to a contract because he signed to record labels that are not black owned.
Exactly.
Adidas, not black owned. So it's almost like he's like being hypocritical. You're calling out people for something that you essentially are doing yourself.
Yeah, I get it. Kanye, I'm still with you, dude. I'm still with you.
But
Yeah.
I would say
Send me my
that
Yeezys.
I will say to your question, if we should cut him some slack, or come to his defense. I do believe that is either he's not wanting to look at the facts versus what he wants his opinion to be. And also it has to be around people who are influencing him. You know what I'm saying? Because for you to say what you say, it just lets me know that the circle of people that are around him are the ones that are influencing him incorrectly. And he's thinking he's being brainwashed when he's having conversation with people who are anti-Semitics and talking about like white power and whatever mess that is. I'm not saying that we shouldn't come to his defense, and he does needs help. Mental health is real, and he should get the help that he needs. I think he needs some, in terms of saving him, it has to be some people around him that can look out for for the greater good. But one, he's not no genius. None of that. If
Kanye,
what do you say? Are we calling him a genius based on records or music soul or music talent? A lot.
let me tell you this here, people. Everybody that's out there listening and looking at this podcast, Kanye is a genius. I stand by that. I listen to him every day. And this brother can come up with lyrics we have never ever heard of before. And if there are any preachers out here listening to the podcast and you don't preach a sermon on Easter Sunday that says it's laundry day because Kanye said Jesus did the laundry. That is brilliant right there. A genius thinks of that. So preachers, I just gave you your Resurrection Sunday sermon. It's laundry day. There we go. So Kanye, check your DM. I DM'd you and asked you to be on the podcast. Wishful thinking, but hey, you got a fan right here.
I didn't go in. I didn't go in. That's what I'm going to
say. Okay, so this is going to be our final question, and I just want to know what you guys think about this here. So you know how social media does tracking and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I've been looking up some men grooming products and everything. So I've been noticing like here, all of these different reels that comes up on my timelines for me to check out and everything. So it's all, you know, people in the barbershop getting their hair cut and everything. And then next thing you know, they peel off. It's like these men with man wigs. So would y'all ever get a man wig? And what do y'all think about man wig? Are we going too far as men? Is social media causing us to go too far with trying to impress people, trying to keep our looks up? What do you guys think about that? Like, we'll start with you, Serge. Do you have a man wig?
I don't. Would I do it? Absolutely. I would. Why not?
And why would you do it?
Well, most people know me. They know I'm bald. I've been bald since maybe 35. And so just to have a different look, to see how I would look at my age now with hair, I think it would be interesting, right? Like, you know, just for that reason, like it would be interesting just to see how I would look with hair. Like, would I like going now? Am I gonna go on Instagram or whatever? Be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do all that. It'd be like a personal thing, but I would try it.
So you wouldn't post no pictures on social media?
I'm not going.
Okay. None at all. The whole time you had the man wig on, you wouldn't post any.
Well, first of all, you call it a man wig, and so that alone is like, no, I will never. I will never post it on social media, and I can't even say that guys are going too far. Period. Like, and I'm not being funny. What the case may be. I just think that like people our age now are taking better care of themselves with the skin treatment routines and pampering and we just trying to stay fly too. So
I agree.
Do whatever it is you want to do to look good. Like
women been wearing wigs forever. You know why? We starting a movement, a wig movement, man, wig movement. Right here, hashtag man wig. Most
people don't know this. Men started wearing wigs first. Do research. Men back in the day were wearing wigs first. George Washington, all of them, they were all wigs. Men used to wear dresses back in the day.
Yeah, drag. It stands for something.
No, it wasn't drag.
No. I'm talking about in Shakespeare. In Shakespeare, yes. Drag says it's an acronym. It's not a word. It
wasn't drag. No,
something men dressed as as girls, something like that. Yeah, it means something
back in the day. And then they like everything like flipped around, and the women were wearing wigs, and the women sort of wearing dresses. And so, but no, do whatever it is you want to do. Yeah, I'm all for it. Cerone,
okay, so they say they're called man units. We got a barber in here, and he's educating us tonight. They're men.
Help me up. What's his name?
Man units, and I learned how to do them in the barber college.
Oh, okay. So
David? I'm gonna look David up when we get off here.
Yeah, David, you might need to create a couple of TikTok videos of your application, and you may have a couple of clients. Not me, but Serge for sure. So, Cerone, what do you think about it? Would you get a man wig? I mean, man unit? Sorry.
He got hair.
I will not get a man unit. Thankfully, I still have everything right here, and I'll still have it for a long while. But I do believe if you want to get it, get it. If it makes you comfortable, get it. Women have been doing it for a long time. Different colors, different size, different texture, some ugly ones, some really nice ones. If you want to do it, do it. Whatever that build up your self-esteem, do it.
Exactly.
I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't do it, you know what I'm saying? Because if I have to go above, like, screw it, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, because it's also very costly too.
It is.
And also the maintenance, and most guys like when it
I
comes
do
to
research.
what's
So
that?
I've done research.
Yeah, like when it comes to certain things for guys, like
Yeah.
heck, 99.99% of the guys, like they can't even have a regimen to wash their face.
So they
So
upwards of $1,000.
How
yeah,
much?
yeah, like up to
Upwards
$1,000.
of $1,000. Like for the hair, for it, upwards of $1,000.
So I haven't had, I mean, a haircut in over 30 years. I think the last time I had a haircuts cost $7 at the barber college. That's how much they was back then. So when I hear that guys are paying $50 and $60 for haircuts, it's like, oh my God,
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah.
oh
I've
wow.
seen where on a what is it, a TikTok or something I was watching where they say that pay like $200 for, and when I saw the haircut, I'm like, for what?
Where? Yeah, where? Why?
Wow. Wow. Well,
But just the maintenance alone on the unit is very, and the upkeep of it, you got to go get it washed and taken out.
It is expensive.
yeah.
That's too much work.
Wow. So, fellas, we done came to the end of the show. And Cerone, you only wanted to do your podcast for 15 to 20 minutes, and you
See?
talked 35 of
I know,
this
right? That's
55 minutes we've
crazy.
been on here. So, hey, but hey, fellas, how can they find you guys?
Cerone?
Well, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can go search in Cerone on Facebook, on IG, straight up real talk _podcast on IG, and you just find us there. Follow us. We start our podcast next month. Now, if you like what you see, then it's gonna be like this. More, it's gonna be as engaging. So come over, and this is gonna be us just talking, having fun, and just getting to know everybody.
Nice. And Serge or Cerone, put your phones out for us real quick and go to Instagram for us real quick. So this is what we're going to do, guys. So and they have their phones, they'll be able to tell who it is. So the first two people who go to IG and follow their podcast, they're looking at their phones right now, so they're going to know who you are. First two people go out there. You're going to have Starbucks on the Dope Ass Dude podcast tomorrow. I will cash up you money tonight. Yeah,
Wait,
so
I want Starbucks. Can I wait? Let me unfriend myself.
No. No, you can make your Starbucks at your house. So, Serge, you see anybody following you guys?
Not yet. I haven't seen anyone right now.
We'll keep an eye out. We'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye out. And then whenever we get
we want them to do it right now while we live.
Okay, we'll see.
So first two people go to their Instagram page. It's up on the screen. Follow them.
Okay.
Can you see it? You got somebody?
Hold on. Got somebody.
I can't log in when you're logging in.
Okay, we got someone. We hold on. Okay, we got someone.
Why are you doing that?
Pretty close love.
Okay.
And we got XZIRA Hamilton.
Did he say camel toe?
Hamilton. Zyra. Shout out Zyra.
And then we have Rob D29.
Okay, so we're gonna.
That's my boy Robert Starbucks.
Yeah, and then we have.
Hey, Cerone, we only said two people, man. Now you done start promising about 3 or 4 folks in Starbucks. No, the first. Well, we'll give it to the first 3 people.
Okay, so those are the first two that came through.
So remember that. So you guys, as soon as this podcast is over with, we're going to DM you to get your Cash App. We'll send it via Cash App, and you'll have Starbucks on the podcast tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you click on that like. Click on that like of this podcast. Please click on the like. And remember, we have a new podcast every Monday, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Next week, Ryan Hinkson is going to be on the podcast. He is a food critic who lives in Canada, and this guy eats at some of the most extraordinary places. So I'm a big foodie, and I'm excited to have him on here. So make sure you come back next week. And then, as usual, guys, always be your own vibe. Feel no pressure. Just be you. Do you authentically you. And thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great night. Peace.
Bye.